Good morning and welcome to Movin'On. I'm Estelle Métayer. I'm the president of Competia and a professor at McGill University. And this morning I am sitting with Allie Kelly, who's the executive director for the Ray. Allie, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here so early.
Thank you so much for having us.
Tell us about the Ray, what you do. It's a non-profit organization with a very particular mission.
That's right. We're based in Atlanta, Georgia, in the southeast section of the United States. We're a nonprofit foundation, and we work in a public-private philanthropic partnership with the state DOT in Georgia, as well as with the U.S. DOT and the Federal Highway Administration, to bring new technologies to an 18-mile stretch of working, operational, open to the public interstate.
Very good. And then you are really interested in telling us about the technologies that are coming up on our highways. So give us some examples of what you see coming.
Right. So we have an opportunity to work with technology companies from around the world, technologies that have a lot of promise, that have the ability in an operational interstate setting to solve many of the problems that we're talking about here at Movin'On. Things like fatalities and crashes on our highways and interstates, as well as the carbon emissions that are related to transportation on the ground, transportation in the air. The companies that we work with, some of them offer really simple, predictable and preventable issues that they can solve in our transportation setting. For example, there's a UK company called Wheelwright that manufactures a very simple piece of equipment that you stay in your vehicle, you drive through at a very low rate of speed, and the equipment is assessing your tire pressure, your tire tread, and the sidewall condition of all your tires, whether you're in a four-door passenger vehicle or an 18-wheeler carrying a lot of freight. This is an important issue for us to think about, whether we're concerned about highway safety or whether we're concerned about transportation carbon emissions, because tires that are not properly monitored and maintained make our vehicles less safe while operating on the road. They also waste fuel if we're operating a gas-powered vehicle, and they increase our tailpipe emissions, including nitrogen oxide and particulate matter that affects public health, as well as carbon emissions that are building up in the atmosphere. So proper maintenance of your tires and regular monitoring of your tires can result in benefits in all three of those areas, which we consider to be a true triple bottom line product or benefit at the Ray.
Yeah, the triple bottom line is an important one, right? Because we're figuring out that by increasing the safety on the highways, you actually are helping those companies and suppliers and the supply chain in general as well, right?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us about other technologies that you see. You're talking about data here with the, there must be a lot of data going on around highways in other fields than just the tires, right?
There are. We've already launched with Georgia DOT and a company, Panasonic, a data ecosystem or a platform for managing the incoming data streams from connected vehicles. In the United States, we have several OEMs that are beginning to manufacture new models that are connected, including Volvo, Volkswagen, GM, Ford, Toyota, and Lexus will be coming soon in the next couple of years, and we expect so many models of cars available for sale between 2023 and 2025 to be connected, which means that they'll have the chipset in the vehicle to transmit data either by radio, short-range radio, or by LTE or other cellular technology like future 5G. So we're developing the system by which our state DOT can collect that vehicle-to-vehicle data in a platform that is capable of managing the big data to turn it into big meaning in real time, real place, which is important because, you know, the data points, they're so numerous, it's so much data that without having the appropriate and powerful capability to see the meaning in it, otherwise it just looks like snow. It's so much data. And then over time, as we develop the data sets for particular important highway routes and interstate routes, then we can utilize and leverage AI and machine learning to understand when we're developing trends that appear to be out of the ordinary or unsafe. And over time, we'll develop that predictive ability to intervene, not just in real time, real place, but as a dangerous situation or as congestion or some other type of operational issue is occurring, we can get there while it's happening in advance of the worst.
I love the big data to big meaning, and the image of the snow is very relevant in Canada.
That's right.
But it's the first time I hear about those private companies willingly sharing data with the government or public organizations, acting as the kind of the catalyzer for that ecosystem. Did you find this is a trend that's going to just go on, that getting private data, aggregating it, and then giving meaning to it is a role that actually governments will take increasingly?
Yeah, I mean, the connected vehicle technology and the radio spectrum for vehicles to connect to each other has been an opportunity developing in the United States for a couple of decades now. The federal government in the U.S. made a decision more than 20 years ago to protect a part of the radio spectrum for vehicle-to-vehicle communication. It's taken a couple of decades for the OEMs to create the capability within the cars to talk to each other, but you've seen since 2017 when GM came out with a connected Cadillac CTS sedan that OEMs are now starting to announce, reveal their plans and reveal their models for connected cars. And the motivation is really about safety and about efficient operation of the system. We know that if cars can talk to each other within a certain proximity, that we'll start to have within your car knowledge and vision far down the road, around the corner, an awareness, a situational awareness while driving, because your car will be communicating with others that we've never had before. And it also amounts to the equal to like an airplane black box, right? So when we have a crash that occurs or a fatality that occurs that involves a connected vehicle, we'll be able to look at that data set and understand, what contributed to that crash or what contributed to the set of events that led to the fatality. So it's a tremendous opportunity in safety. When the state government steps in and decides to invest in the roadside infrastructure that allows for that connected vehicle data to be shared with the DOT, which is commonly referred to as V2X or vehicle to everything, what the state DOT does is it opens up that the knowledge or the information, instead of being limited to the proximity of the radio or the proximity of vehicles connected by cellular technology, suddenly the DOT is maintaining a statewide or a regional data perspective. And so instead of being limited to a mile or 2 miles, a DOT can start to give you information from 10 or 20 miles away and can help you with more sophistication to route around situations that are dangerous or congested. So we really feel like this is an opportunity and an imperative for state government to follow the OEMs and getting involved with harnessing the big data from connected vehicles. And it's really just following a path that the federal government made possible more than 2 decades ago.
Very interesting. You see the foresight is important in terms of setting up, and I understand in terms of the radio waves and the ability for them to be more efficient so that the response time is quicker.
That's right.
Be really important, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We're also working to, no pun intended, but pave the way for autonomous vehicle testing on the interstate system at high speeds on our 18-mile section of Interstate 85 known as the Ray. Right now we're repaving several miles, 13 of the 18 miles, with new asphalt. Some of that asphalt is funded by the federal government to be a test of how we can recycle scrap tires into road material. In America alone, we generate 300 million scrap tires every year. So understanding how we can upcycle scrap tires and make that another circular opportunity in transportation is really important. So a portion of the Ray will be paved with recycled scrap tires in the asphalt, and then we're working with 3M to provide striping on the Ray that will be particularly visible to machine vision systems operated by autonomous vehicles. This is the Connected Roads product that has been engineered and specifically designed by 3M for autonomous vehicle vision systems. And so we'll have some simple but really important infrastructure or hardware on the Ray, which will be this important striping, and then in the future also roadside signage that's been specifically developed with redundancy for autonomous vehicle systems. And then we'll also have the connected vehicle data platform platform, which is the software, to allow for advanced mobility like platooning and like driverless operation to occur at speeds of 70 miles per hour on a working interstate that hosts 11.5 million other travelers at the same time.
I can just imagine if you would roll out that to all the highways, interstates in the United States, the impact it will have. I think this is a lab that's going to be teaching you so much about rolling it out afterwards and scaling it, right? Because I know we have a few last minutes. Can we end up talking about the scaling? Because your work is also on how do we take what we're learning on that stretch.
That's right.
And how do we scale it, maybe as a conclusion.
That's right. You could not be any more correct about our mission at the Ray. Our mission is to go zero carbon, zero deaths, and zero waste in transportation, and to show that the technologies already exist to move us in those directions. And some of the technologies even help us to get to those goals automatically. For example, we know that to go zero carbon on the Ray and in interstates and highways everywhere, that we need to do what we can to support electrification and other zero emission transportation technologies. So we've installed solar powered EV charging. We're installing clean solar energy generation along the road and even in the road itself, trying to show that these technologies can perform safely in the transportation setting without disrupting the operation of the system, that they bring value and they bring immediate benefit to the transportation system, and showing that we can do it on an 18-mile stretch is a start. It's not enough, but it's the first step towards paving the way for others to follow suit with the same technologies or similar technologies, really providing the living laboratory for these technologies to perform, to succeed, and then we as philanthropy help them to scale.
It's an amazing project, and I think you'll prove the case, and then you'll have to take your be the ambassador for it to make it much larger. We'd love to have your tires on our roads in Montreal. I think it'd solve a lot of questions.
Well, the namesake of the Ray is Ray Anderson, the former CEO and founder of Interface Carpet Company. Ray became the pioneer for corporate sustainability and the circular economy around the world. And after he passed in 2011, this memorial highway in Georgia, this 18-mile stretch, has become an extension of Ray Anderson's legacy. So going circular in transportation, understanding how we do less harm, and understanding how we can produce more value, these are all things that Ray would be proud of. And we try to work as hard as we can to support the technologies and to support the owner-operators around the world in the transportation sector to adopt quickly and scale so that we can reach our goals.
That's very impressive. Thank you so much, Allie.
Thank you.
Then keep it on and let us know how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.